It's chaos.
It's chaos.
It's chaos. I really don't believe in beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
You know, I think with business, it gets to a point where you have to make the decision whether it's working or not.
Yeah.
And so for me, I don't believe in this philosophy of just keep grinding. When all the signs are clear,
It's not working.
it's not working.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I'm also okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, you took the risk, you put everything you have in, and that I think is a win in itself, you know?
Nanzia is a Nairobi-based entrepreneur and the visionary behind Roro's, a modern, healthy, fast casual brand that seeks to deliver a fresh lifestyle-driven approach to food. Driven by innovation, Nanzia is passionate about growing African-built brands with global ambition.
You have to be very clear on what it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Right? You can't be everything to everyone.
What are some of those hard lessons that you had to learn? One that you'll never forget.
Ooh. I mean, there are so many.
I know there are.
It's so hard to pick one.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
There are so many.
So thank you for joining me, Nanzia.
You're welcome.
I'm really excited to have this conversation with you because it's hospitality. You've been in hospitality
And
for
so
a
have
while.
you.
And so have I. And so I feel like there's a lot to talk about and relate to. But before we talk about some of the things and some of your experiences in hospitality, I want to know first how you got into this, how you got started with Roro's. You mentioned that you had started during COVID, so that's a really interesting thing for me. Tell me, how did you get started?
It's interesting because the story is actually, sometimes I forget this part of the story, but I used to live in Tanzania.
Okay.
And actually that's where I started.
Oh.
Yeah. But I didn't start with this whole idea that this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to like grow this brand. I was filling a gap
In Tanzania.
in Tanzania. And I was solving a problem
Mm-hmm.
that mainly I had.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that problem was I wanted something healthy, but I wanted it to be hearty. I wanted it to taste good. And I wanted it to be quick. Yeah. So I had a full-time job. And at lunchtime. So Tanzania, I live in Dar es Salaam and it's like really hot. So at lunchtimes, I just wanted something light.
Yeah.
But I wanted it to fill me up, you know? I wanted it to be nutrient dense and to be delicious. And when I lived in Tanzania, I had just moved back from New York. So in New York, I had access to this kind of food every other day,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Just quick on the go, but healthy, you know?
Lots of options.
Yeah. So like fast food
Mhm.
that's healthy, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And so I struggled to find that. Like if I wanted a salad, so I'm obsessed with salads. I make salad at home. I always used to make salads. But in the event that I didn't want to make one, where would I get it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So then you end up having to go to like this restaurant, wait for a while, end up with like lettuce and olives and
It's a miserable salad.
You know what I
Yeah.
Pay an arm and a leg, and I'm starving after.
Yeah.
And I didn't even enjoy it. So I was like, this can't be that hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I was solving a problem that I had,
Mm-hmm.
which, as I've learned now as an entrepreneur, probably wasn't the smartest way to start because essentially you're supposed to look for a problem that, you know, a massive problem.
But we always start that way.
Exactly.
We always start.
Yeah, but I started with myself. So I was
Yeah.
solving my problem.
Yeah.
And essentially I started it as something that I would do on the side because I didn't think it would be difficult. So I was a bit naive. You know, I was like, oh, how hard could it be? Chop up some lettuce, make a salad. I do it all the time. You know, I'll just hire someone to do it, show them how to use a blender, make a smoothie, bam, done.
Yeah.
So that's how I started. Yeah.
So you started in Tanzania, and then how did you find yourself in Nairobi?
So I grew up in Nairobi. I went to school in Nairobi.
Oh, okay.
I was born in Nairobi. So Nairobi is home, technically.
Okay.
But my dad's Tanzanian.
Okay.
And so when he retired, my family moved back to Tanzania.
Okay.
And so when I was done with my master's in the US, I moved to Tanzania. Actually, I was moved to Tanzania. I got a job in in DC, and they deployed me to Tanzania to set up an office. And so that's how I ended up there, and that's essentially how I started. So I was doing it for a while as I was working my full-time job, and then it dawned on me that it was more work than I had anticipated.
How did you manage to do it on the side with a full-time job?
I didn't manage that for too long.
Okay.
So actually, funny thing is, I would take my lunch break and go to Roro's to eat my salad. Yeah. So that was my thing. I literally started it for myself. I was like, okay, let's go and get the salad and, get full or whatever. And this one time I went and there was like a line outside the door. It was not like a really big place. Yeah. But there was a line outside the door. And people were like waiting for their salads or taking too long. So I kind of like walked in and it was a mess,
Yeah.
But
But that must have been a good feeling though to come to your business and there's a line.
In retrospect,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But at the time, no.
No.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening?
Yeah.
I just came to eat and go back to work. And so I had to like dive in, So it grew faster than I guess
you anticipated.
I anticipated. And clearly more people had the problem that I was solving for myself.
Yes.
And so then I had to sit down and decide, like, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
So fast forward, the lease of the establishment I taken up ended. I needed a bigger space because then this whole like lines and no space to sit started to kind of become a thing. And I had to decide, do I want to do this? If I do this, what does that mean? What does that look like? etc.
Yeah.
And so I made the decision, okay, what's the worst that could happen? Let me try
it.
But if I do, I want to do this at scale. If I do, I want to do this as a business. If I do, I want to like just try and see, can I build a brand? And so Nairobi made the most sense.
Yeah. So you just established that if I'm going to take this seriously, then I need to move to Nairobi to do this. And then you came. Was this around the COVID time that you
So yeah, this was in 2019.
Okay.
So as I said, Nairobi is home, right? I consider myself East African, right? Tanzania is home as well.
Yeah.
So I was coming back and forth. I've always had family that lives in Nairobi as well. I was consulting at the time, so I would come and like do like consulting projects here. And even essentially, like I had gotten a couple of job offers in Nairobi. So Nairobi was kind of like the direction I was going anyway. So it was okay. Let's go to Nairobi and let's try build a brand. Let's see what it takes. What's the worst that could happen? If it doesn't work, then I go back into my career path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you started in 2020. Well, you moved in 2019. You got started in the process of setting up the business. You decided on Village Market?
No, Sarit.
Sarit first.
Yeah, Sarit was our first location.
Okay. What was the response like when you got to Sarit?
It was slow, mainly because we opened up in the new wing of Sarit. So Sarit now, like the new side it's where it's at. That's where everybody's like, it's not confusing. But when we started, nobody understood how to even get to the other side of Sarit.
I still don't understand
really?
how to get to
Really? No, you find it confusing?
Sarit is so confusing.
So then it was worse because it was scaffolding all over the place.
Yeah.
And then there was barely any stores on the new side.
Yes.
So it was us, Absa Bank, and a dry cleaners. And then after a while, Textbook Center opened up upstairs. And then I think Paris Co. So it was kind of like slow move into the new wing. But I do remember at the beginning, we had like scaffolding right outside our
your space
entrance, for the longest time. So it was kind of difficult to kind of direct people. It's like, how do you get them? People would show up like, oh my God, I found it,
Yeah.
And essentially, when you set up in a mall, you're setting up because of the foot traffic, right?
Of
You're
course.
setting up because you don't want people to have to find you.
Mm-hmm.
People should just be like, oh,
You're
you
here.
know,
It's
what's this?
convenient.
Exactly. And so in the beginning, we didn't really tap into that. But it quickly changed. You know, we were right at the entrance, right opposite APSA, and that became one of like the main entrances. So with time,
It picked up.
and was great. But initially, it was a little bit tough. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So at what point did you then open your second location?
A year after.
A year after.
Yeah. So then a year after, we opened in Village Market.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is this because you saw demand in Village Market? How did you know that that was the next best place to open up?
The opportunity came.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So the store that we have in Village Market is in the food court. And somebody reached out and said, hey, we have this location. It's opening up. We think you'd be perfect for it. And I went to see it and I was like, yeah, this is pretty, pretty great.
Yeah.
And I guess at the time also, as I said, I was trying to scale, right? The whole idea was to have multiple locations and to scale. And so, yeah, Village Market is a great market for what we are doing. But I think it was more the opportunity first.
Yeah.
Than the other way around.
That presented itself.
Yeah. So I didn't go looking like, oh, this is going to be a great market for us. Let's try and find a venue. It was the other way around. Yeah.
You're scaling at a time when businesses are closing, especially in hospitality.
I know. Yeah.
So how did we do that?
Yeah. So when we opened our first location, obviously we had no idea COVID was around the corner.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, great. Let's start. Let's grow this brand. Let's do business. And like 5, 6 months later, COVID hit, right? So 2020 was absolutely the last thing we're thinking about was a new location. But I don't know if you remember, there was a point between 2020 and 2021 where it seemed like everything was going back to normal.
Yes.
And that's when the opportunity presented itself.
Okay.
And then shortly after that, we had the second wave of COVID. So these were decisions made in the interim, like in the gaps, like before COVID, we opened our first location and then COVID came. And then we got through 2020.
Yeah.
And that was an uphill
battle.
And learning curve. But you kind of made it to the top and it's like, okay. And then the opportunity presented itself. And then the second wave of COVID come. Now, obviously, had I known, I definitely wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
The uncertainty at the time.
Level of uncertainty. And then by the second wave, it's like this thing has no end.
Yeah.
There was no end in sight.
Yeah.
There was no like timeline or deadline or like, COVID's going to end in 2022, August 15th. No. So it was kind of,
So what were you thinking in that moment, like at the time when you're not really sure when COVID is going to end, you've just opened up your second location, were you turning over enough to even survive?
So interestingly, with the first wave of COVID in 2020, we had to pivot.
Yeah.
And pivoting for me looked like really diving into the delivery market, right? And tapping into that. Okay. People are at home now. How do we get to them? How do we get the word out? People are trying to be more healthy. We're in that market. How do we do that?
Yeah.
And then the second thing was also pivoting in terms of our offering.
Yeah.
So essentially or initially when we started, we were just salads and, wraps, like fresh stuff. We had to introduce hot food.
Okay.
Yeah. So then came the rice bowls. And that was because of COVID. So that helped us, get through doing the deliveries and then just like introducing a new like product line that tapped into people who weren't comfortable like having uncooked food. Because there was like, I don't want to say rumor, but there was this whole, when COVID started, nobody really knew what was going on, right? So people were like washing their vegetables with like soap and water and, not letting anything inside their house before it's been sanitized, bananas included.
Yeah.
And here we are like making salads. Like no, that thing hasn't been fried in fire.
Yeah.
So we had to introduce something hot and cook to kind of to tap into that. So that really helped us make that in combination with like really diving into delivery.
Yeah.
In terms of like our packaging, and the product travels really well as well. You know how you can go to like, I don't know, a proper sit down restaurant or fine dining restaurant, and the food needs to be plated.
Yes.
And it doesn't travel well.
Yeah.
But I think
it's fresh.
Yeah, the benefit for us is the kind of food we're doing travels well. So deliveries really picked up.
Yeah.
So that helped us get through.
Yeah.
And so we were okay. And that's kind of why we were able in the gap to say let's open another location.
Yeah. How did you finance getting started with your first and your second branch?
So it was a combination. So the first one is a combination of savings and family.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nice.
Well, my brother had this idea, and my brother's like into business.
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, that sounds really good, you know? So he gave me a loan.
Yeah.
And then I also had savings.
Yeah.
You know? So I just put everything into it.
You went all in.
I went all in. I did, yeah. And so that financed the first location. And then since then, it's been self-financed.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to say about that. That's
a lot.
That's a lot to say about that. I mean, you're really risking it all. And I mean, it's all your money, and it just has to work.
It has to work.
It has to work out.
I mean, it has to work until it doesn't, you know? And that's okay too.
I like that mindset though.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's okay too. I really don't believe in, what do they call it? Beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
You know, I think with business, it gets to a point where you have to make the decision whether it's working or not.
Yeah.
And so for me, I don't believe in this philosophy of like, just keep grinding when all the signs are clear.
It's not working.
It's not working.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I'm also okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, you took the risk, you put everything you have in. And that I think is a win in itself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very fine walking away and saying, I gave it my all. You can always start again, you know? You can always start again.
I love that mindset.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was talking to one of my previous guests, and you really become, especially if it's your own money and your family's money, and you really are invested. And it's very hard to let go, and even separating yourself from the business, because it's blood, sweat, and tears. This is you. This is the embodiment of you. And so for you to have this mindset where you're just like, if it's not going to work, then we can move on and do the next thing.
I mean, not that nonchalant. But I will say, I think maybe that's where a lot of people go wrong.
Yeah.
I think at some point you really have to separate yourself from the business, right?
Yeah.
You can't be too emotionally invested.
Yeah.
Because then you stunt like growth. You stunt, like there's certain decisions you're unable to make because of how, like when it's not working or when you need to pivot. Like I could have been sold on, I want to make the heartiest salads.
Yeah.
And if the market didn't want salads, then I was ready to pivot. Do you know what I mean? In COVID, people wanted hot food. And so we introduced rice bowls, you know?
Yeah.
And I think if you're too emotionally invested, then you can't make those decisions. It also depends on how, like what you want to become, like what's the end goal, right? Mm-hmm. Building a brand it's not easy.
It's not easy.
And you need other people's buy-in, right? And I'm talking about like investors, etc. And I think if you're too emotionally attached, then it's very difficult, or it's like heartbreaking when people come in and want to see certain things happen, you know? Then you're like in emotional turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's something like I had to decide, right? This is the embodiment of my creativity and my ideologies and, you know, brand ethos or whatever it is, but it doesn't 100% embody me. Like I have to separate myself from the business to some degree, you know? Yeah.
I want to ask, actually, when it comes to pivoting, I mean, you were listening to the market, and you were listening to the market and what the market told you in whatever form that is. When I was doing the restaurant business, we started off in one way and pivoted based on what the market wanted. But along the way, there were very many opinions that came in, and you listen to some opinions and some you don't listen to, it's very hard to kind of decipher what the best action to take when it comes to pivots. And I want to know how you decipher from like the noise of just people who really don't even know what they're talking about.
Right.
And
And some who do.
Right. And just making the best decision for the business and for you and for while staying true to whatever vision that you might have. Like, how do you separate the noise from the real?
And I think you've kind of said it. For me, it's staying true to the vision, right? I'm open to people's opinions and I'm open to listening. But essentially, at the end of the day, I'm the visionary.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And so then I make the decision that feels most comfortable, most authentic, and most true to the vision. And I'm then okay with that decision having been wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because then it was my decision and not somebody else's.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that's kind of the direction I take. It's more so, okay, I heard that. What am I most comfortable with? And then I go with that.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, then that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You move on.
Yeah. Because I made the decision. And I think with those kind of things, you have to be okay with being wrong. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a muscle that I've really exercised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've been wrong so many times. I've made so many decisions that, I mean, when I look back on, I'm like, we'd probably be so much further if I hadn't made those decisions. But I made the decision.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so now, and I was wrong. Okay. So what do we do to fix it?
What do we do next?
Yeah.
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 Oh, okay. I love that. Okay. I think I'm speaking from a place of just having done an iteration of the type of business that you're doing. And there was a lot, I mean, just like you, I jumped into it not knowing anything. Like just, it's like, I like food.
Learning on the job.
You learn on the job.
Right.
What are some of those hard lessons that you had to learn? One that you'll never forget?
Ooh, I mean, there are so many.
I know there are.
It's so hard to pick one.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
There are so many. But I think for me, what's really interesting is how little of what I love to do I did in the beginning. You know, you said you love food. And so you were like, oh, I love food. I'm going to start a restaurant. But then when you do it, like food is like the least important part of the whole equation.
It's true.
You know, like
it's true.
You become so far removed from your love for the food and you find yourself in the weeds of like accounting and food costs and people management and operations and suppliers and it's like my creativity is dying.
Yes.
Because the reason I did this was not to do that.
Yes.
So I think for me that's been the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
I think with time it gets better because then you figure out like systems and controls. But systems and controls was the last thing I thought I would be doing or involved in, you know? And that was the biggest shock. It's like I didn't start to do this. But at the end of the day, it's like this is the most important. Yeah. Like if you don't do this, then forget it. Yeah. Like why? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I always say, you know, actually I was talking to an old friend of mine who also started a restaurant and it didn't work out, but she started because she loves cooking. Yeah. And I always say, like, don't start a restaurant just because you like cooking.
No.
I
cook at home.
You'll never cook.
Have dinner parties.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like that's why restaurants have such a high failure rate, right? Because people started because of the love
for food, or cooking, whatever it is,
you know, and cooking, and I just want to be around
creative
people, and
socialize.
Exactly.
You'll never do it.
You will never
do it.
And then at some point, if you get the chance to, it's like the last thing you want to do.
It's the last thing you want to do
because you're so drained by everything else.
Exactly.
The last thing you want to do is cook.
Exactly.
Yeah. I will tell you, funny thing is, I don't particularly love cooking. I just love good food.
Yeah.
I cook because I want to eat something specific. You know, I'll see a recipe and I'll be like, that's something I want to eat. But not because I'm like, oh, I love cooking. I just love good food.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you love the creativity and all of that,
it's you're not going to get to do much of it.
At least not in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you struggle with now? Or rather, what is something that that kind of keeps you up at night in the business?
I think how little of the business depends on me, like how dependent you are on so many other factors.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're not in control,
you're not
do you
in
feel?
control to the extent that I would like to be. You know? It depends on so many other things. And
you have to choose your battles, though.
You have to choose your battles. And that's frustrating because like the people aspect is so important, right? So other people and their work ethic and their ability to follow recipes, their ability to give good customer service, their ability to show up at work, their ability to be honest, and not steal and find loops. So all of that, my business depends on that, right? And I have no control over that,
Yeah.
How do I make the right decision about a right hire? Because a wrong hire can kill your whole business, and that happens to me.
Yeah.
But it's like how, like some people say, I'm just great at picking good people, and so that's not a general skill. Like what makes you great at, making the right decision? Because people show up for interviews and they can be fantastic, and 3 months down the line, it's a completely different person. So it's like, do I base it on the interview, or do I is it, people talk about training for skill and hiring for character, so in an interview, I'm supposed to kind of pick up your character and then be like, okay, this person I can train.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So there's just so many other things.
I always say it's like an HR business because there's a lot of factors, but it's very dependent on other people.
It's very dependent, extremely
dependent on other people really doing well and doing the right hiring. And I don't know if this is the case with you. The turnover rate.
Oh yeah.
The employee turnover rate is crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's because it's not like a career path for anyone. I don't know. Maybe you can answer this question. Why do you think there's such a high employee turnover rate in this industry? Particularly in the region, on the continent, whatever the case may be. I don't know what the facts are, but in my experience, super high turnover.
Honestly, I think it's globally. I think it's just an industry where I think it's because of the options.
Yeah.
First and foremost, right? It's so easy. Like there's hundreds of restaurants and it doesn't just stop at restaurants. It's cafes, it's hotels, etc. Right? So people have a lot of options. And then I think when you have options, then you're non-committal because what if? The next thing, the next best thing type of, So I think it's the more options people have, then the easier it is to just pick up and go.
Yeah.
And because it's become a cycle, then because I like to believe a lot of establishments in this industry face high turnover, so then they're also used to hiring.
Yeah.
Right? So there's always opportunity for a new
hire. Yeah.
A new opportunity. A new restaurant's open up, a new hotel, or the already existing ones are looking for new hires. So I think that's what I think it's based on, Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's so difficult, and this is something I find myself asking a lot, but like I have been driving around Nairobi and seeing restaurants opening everywhere. There's a new restaurant every week. And back in the day, like there's just a few, and there's just a few nice places to go to. And these days, there's a lot of them.
There's
so many.
Yeah.
And I am trying to figure out why there are so many, especially because it's such a hard business to operate. Why do you think there's so many?
Girl, when you find out, let me know. Because I have the same questions. I don't get it. I'm like, huh?
It
I
takes,
thought the economy is going through things. Like,
yeah.
what's going on here?
I have a theory, but
Tell me.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. It's a very cash intensive business to start and to operate if you're doing something, decent. You know,
I thought the same.
it would be a good way to launder money for sure.
Yeah.
I do believe there's a lot of legitimate business. Of course, there's a lot of legitimate business. But at the same time, the rate at which we are opening restaurants is crazy.
It's crazy.
And it doesn't make sense.
No.
So,
yeah. Especially at the time when it's happening, because I love eating out as well.
Yeah.
And there was a point where I used to have this list of, new places that I'm going to go to check out. I stopped because I couldn't keep up anymore. I'm like, oh my goodness, there are too many.
Yeah.
There are just too many.
Now what is this place?
Yeah. I'm like, I'll go and I'll go one day, someday. Yeah. There's so many.
And they'll open and close and open and close and open and close. And then a new one will pop up.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, wash. I feel like there's a lot of businesses out there that I saw a chandelier shop at petrol station.
Just chandeliers?
Chandeliers.
Just chandeliers.
Chandeliers.
And at the petrol station?
At a petrol station.
Okay.
I was like, who?
Yeah.
Who's coming here?
Right.
And they're like, oh, I want to go
to
chandelier. No, I was asking myself.
I thought you went in and asked, who's coming here?
No, I was asking myself, like, who?
You like getting fuel and you're like,
yeah, ooh, chandelier shop. I should go and check it out. But
I did need a new chandelier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild, but okay. I mean, we'll see. It's not there anymore, that chandelier shop.
Oh, really?
No, it's not.
Because I was gonna say, but what if it's working?
No, that didn't work.
Okay.
Didn't. But then I was just thinking, by the time this person has said, this is the location I want to open my chandelier shop, I'm gonna put in all this money to open the chandelier shop
at
the petrol station, and then I'm gonna operate. I'm gonna pay rent every month. What's happening?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring in the chandeliers.
It's happening. Anyway, obviously there's a lot that goes into running a restaurant, running a business like this. People really don't see a lot that goes into doing this kind of business.
In the background.
Yeah. If there was one thing that you would let people know about what goes into it, what would you reveal about what goes on in the background?
It's chaos. I mean, okay, to be fair, I don't want to make this like a blanket statement, right? Because I think it also depends on your scale.
Yeah.
And I guess the effectiveness of your systems.
Yeah. Systems is the most important part of this.
Like systems along with people.
Yeah.
And actually for the longest I've said I want to build something that's not dependent on people, but is dependent on systems. And a friend of mine asked me, but who's going to run the systems? It's the people. And I was like, oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So systems and people go key. And I think when you get those two things right, then it's smooth-ish operations. I say ish because, as I mentioned, there's so many factors, you know? So, for example, when you came by and I told you we have a supplier who delayed.
Yeah.
We were kind of operating and everything was going okay. But it was like, if the supplier doesn't come in the next hour, then we're not going to be able to service certain items, you know? We have specific times that suppliers are supposed to arrive and deliver so we can kind of, receive the produce and check that everything's okay, XYZ.
Yeah.
And this one day, the supplier just kind of
was
late. Yeah. So, and you're dealing with some level of that every other day. You know, someone didn't show up to work, or somebody's sick, or KPLC messed up one of the power lines, and then it the generator is also not working. And you know, there's always some level or something that you wake up to. The other day was the gas is leaking. So, you know, you can't operate. Why is there a gas leak? Yeah, so there's this chaos, but you kind of keep going. Yeah.
It seems like there's always just some level of anxiety. Like, even when everything's going really well, there's like a low level of anxiety and you're waiting for the bulge.
Something to go wrong.
Yeah. And like, I find that you're just putting out fires every day.
Yeah.
Is that something that you feel like you experience, or?
I think the level of resilience gets better, right? So something that would like leave me flustered and on the floor before, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, let's fix it.
Yeah.
You know, and then let's call the guy to come fix the gas.
Yeah.
Before I'd be like, oh my God, like we can't open until the gas is fixed. And this means da. So I think you just, with time, you get better, you know, and then I think you also have to have a team around you, people that are like problem solvers, you know, and that are quick to act. And it's like, because I always talk about, okay, so what's the solution? You know, let's not focus on the problem. What's the solution? And let's do it fast. I think that makes it a little bit easier, you know? And then obviously with time, you start to anticipate certain things. So it's like, okay, so if this is going to happen, what's the backup plan, you know? And so that lessens the number of fires that you have to put out on a daily.
Yeah.
So I feel like with time, the levels of anxiety die down.
Yeah.
I mean, Alma, I need to hear your hospitality story. So you know the funny thing is, I feel you at the same time. It's like, yeah,
you get it.
I get it.
You get it.
100% I get it.
It's just this feeling of like, I always felt like this business is not going to work unless someone who has stake in it is always there. And it was just very difficult to feel like you can step away from it. And I just don't think that's a business.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it's not.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm curious to know if you feel like you can step away from the business.
I do.
At this stage or ever later in the future.
I do. In all fairness, I think I did it earlier than I should have.
Yeah.
Because I was very adamant from the get-go.
Yeah.
That if this is something I do, it needs to stand on its own.
Yeah.
And I'd always take examples. I'm like, look at KFC.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that the guy who started KFC, like, he's not even alive anymore.
Yeah.
And
it's
fine.
A franchise
it's a
model.
Franchise.
Yeah.
But even forget franchise. Let's look at just brands, right?
Yeah.
Multiple locations.
Yeah.
I mean, to be a brand, you have to have multiple locations. I'm not going to be the first restaurant to do it. There's so many others.
Yeah.
That have international locations.
Yes.
I'm not a franchise model.
Yes.
And I'm like, if that's working, then there's something to it.
There's a way.
To be totally honest, it's all about systems. And so for me, I was very adamant because people used to say, if you don't sit there, it's not going to work. If you're not there, your staff won't do the right thing. And that's the noise that I always shut off because I'm like, you cannot tell me that CJ's, for example.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
You know,
has many
it
branches.
has many branches.
Yeah.
That the owner is sitting there.
Tracking
ensuring that it works.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
There's like 3 floors in the restaurant. So I'm like, it's really systems, right?
Yeah.
Now systems take a while before you really figure them out. And you know,
what's a while?
I would say a couple of years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know what a couple is, but I'd definitely say 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Before you just really get the model right. So I think I stepped away sooner than I should have, to be totally honest. Just because I was very adamant that I don't want to sit there and have to watch and make sure everything happens. Because then I'm like, then I don't have a scalable business. And I'm not interested in doing it.
Yeah.
So that's always been my thing. Like, I look around and I'm like, this can't be the truth.
Yeah.
Because there's so many other things doing it and nobody's sitting there. You know, there's managers and XYZ. So I think, there's a model And as I said, I really do think it's systems
Mm-hmm.
tied with the right hires, right? Getting the right people isn't easy, but once you kind of hit that nail on the head, then you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you really have to figure out hiring.
Yeah.
Like you really have to invest time and energy and understanding into how to hire right. And not for all positions, right? So your managerial level, your C-suite, I think you need to have the right people. And then they manage everybody else, right? So you still have the turnover with maybe your lower level staff. But if you have the right managerial staff in place, and then you pair that with good systems, I think that's the winning formula.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're working towards that.
Should I try again?
I think you should. I really do.
No, I'm good.
Are you kidding? I really think you should. You know, I always say that the experience also, and the trauma brings you back with because you've identified what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I just think that I learned a lot. And I think that it's invaluable. I would never go back, but I feel like I can pretty much do any kind of business at this point.
Yeah.
Like you can do anything.
You can.
That's the hardest thing you're ever going
to do. Yeah.
So from that, I can take away and walk away with at the end.
Yeah. And lessons is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
What do you want for Roro's in the next couple of years?
I want to build a brand.
Yeah.
I want to build a brand, an African-born brand, female-led, Black African, that can compete on a global stage.
Yeah.
I want a brand that stands on its own. And so for me, that's the North Star.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you see a Roro's and you're like, oh, Roro's, whether you patronize it or not,
it's recognizable.
Yeah. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I know what that is. That's my North Star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think you'd have to get other partners on board in order to be able to do that? Or do you want to just organically get to that point?
So I think that's where I'm at a crossroad.
Yeah.
To build a brand at a within a certain time frame, you definitely need to have people on board. You need to have investors, especially if you want to scale fast.
Yeah.
Organically, it's much slower.
Yes.
Much slower pace.
Yeah.
And so it's a question of what direction do you go, right? They have their pluses and their...
What pace do you want to go at? Yeah.
It depends on the pace.
Yeah.
But also depends on what you want to give away.
Mm-hmm.
How much...
Equity.
And I think that's where it comes down to how attached are you to, emotionally attached are you to your business, right? Because when you go the investor route, you are not only giving away equity, but you're giving away, the decision making. You're giving away some of the vision, right? Like I might have one vision, and my investors are like, this is the better vision.
That's true.
You have to be comfortable with that. You have to be comfortable with kind of taking a back seat at some point. You have to be comfortable potentially being kicked out. So there's a lot of, but then you go faster.
You go
bigger, and so it's a question of what are you willing to give up, and also what pace are you willing to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone came and gave you a really good offer, would you let go of the business? At this stage?
What's a really good offer?
Well, everybody has a price.
This is true.
I mean,
at this stage, no.
Yeah.
Just because I don't feel like I would have enough weight in a negotiation.
Oh.
I have to attain a portion of a vision.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be more than this is the idea. I have to actually show that we've attained some of that, We're at 2 locations now. There was a point we were going on 4. So we kind of moved forward and then pulled back. We pulled all the way back. and I kind of feel like I've started afresh, So I've taken all the lessons and all the mistakes, and it's like, okay, let's do this again, and see how far we can get. I want to at least get halfway there before I'm ready to discuss like giving it away. So it's not a no, it's just a not right now. Because I need to share more than just this is the goal and this is the vision and this is the idea. It's like, okay, this was the goal and we've gotten this to this. Yeah. And then you have some leg room, to kind of say, to negotiate.
To get the most out of the work that you put in, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not right now.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But definitely no, not a no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that was potentially something that happened in the near future, if you got to that point, it's an option.
For sure.
In kind of, I mean, Roro's could go in a different direction, but just not in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
That's an option for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm open to it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I want to talk about how, well, you said you're a mom of 2 little boys.
I am.
And I'm always so fascinated. This is part of the reason I'm doing this.
Really?
I'm always so fascinated by how women can run businesses, run households, raise children, and do all these things and really just show up as they are and kill it, And you're one of those people.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just like, how?
Really?
Yeah.
It's so interesting because after I had kids, I honestly look at it's almost like I'm having an out-of-body experience towards other women, not even myself. I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like everything you said, I'm like, how are women doing this?
Yeah.
And like showing up. Like it's normal.
Yeah. Like it's normal.
Like it's normal. Like,
that's the thing.
I have 4 kids. Ha. And it's like, but you are here and there. And
I have a friend who has 4 kids and she shows up hard.
And I'm mind blowing. Like, oh my God. It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing.
But you show up. And so I want to know, because especially your kids are young. You just had them 5 minutes ago.
I did. Just yesterday.
And that's where the work is. That's the time when they're really needy. And I know you show up for them.
Yeah.
So I just want to know how. I mean, it might be a crazy question because men don't get asked these questions, but like for me, it's very real because I also have young kids, and sometimes I just don't feel like I'm showing up properly.
Right.
So how do you do that and reconcile with all these things?
It's an interesting question. Because as I said, sometimes I feel like I'm having an out-of-body experience where I'm like, okay, the day's over.
Yeah.
And everything's been cared for,
Yeah.
I mean, the truth is you drop the ball somewhere.
You drop
right?
the ball.
You can't do everything well. And definitely not at the level that you did before.
Yeah.
So like there's the social life and there's business and
something's suffering somewhere.
Yeah, something's suffering 100%. But women, we have superpowers because sometimes I'm surprised by the level of sleep I'm able to operate on. It'll be 5 p.m. and I'm like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like I didn't sleep last night, but I'm still here. I don't feel tired. It's
okay.
5. And I'm just like, wow. And then I look around and I'm like, and she's doing it and she's doing it. And you know what I mean? So
that's the thing.
You just do it. I think we're built different.
Yeah.
We are built different. And honestly, we can do anything.
Yeah.
Like my first Mother's Day. Oh my goodness. I was like, I just want to write a love letter to women because what are we doing? I took 6 months maternity leave, and at Mark 6, maternity leave, because obviously I'm an entrepreneur, so I was always in and out. But I run my own business, right?
Yeah,
so I could at least
do that.
Manage my hours. Maybe I won't start very early, etc. And But just thinking that at month 6 is when I was like, I'm only just starting to feel like myself again. I wouldn't even say myself, because obviously I'm never gonna be
that girl,
version of who I was. But I only started to feel like I was functioning. You know what I mean? Like I could hold a memory. I could articulate a sentence. I was not like dreadfully exhausted. And just the idea that maternity leave is 3 months for the majority, hats off. I said at 3 months, I was a zombie. You know, I was an absolute mess. I couldn't even imagine showing up anywhere. So it's hard to answer your question.
Yeah,
essentially,
it really is.
I think we are just superpowers.
Yeah,
like
superpowers.
We have superpowers, and I don't know where they come from. I don't know where that strength, energy, ability to kind of separate all the responsibility comes from, but it does, and it gets done, and you keep it moving.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how, but I will be honest, a ball drops somewhere.
Yeah.
Something is suffering.
Yeah.
But even just the idea that something is suffering and not everything, I think that in itself says a lot.
Says a lot.
Yeah, because it's definitely not easy. It's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to say I'm doing, because I feel like every other woman, who has kids or not, you're juggling just multiple things. There's invisible labor.
Invisible labor.
The invisible labor is what gets me.
That's
the part. I'm like, no, we don't talk about this, So people are like, oh, you're going to work and, you're taking care of the house. I'm like, I'm not only doing those things. There's so many other things that I'm doing that I'm not ever going to get any recognition.
Yeah.
Because it's invisible labor.
Yeah.
And it's wild.
Yeah.
It's
even
wild.
That word, invisible labor, triggers a lot of people. But it's very real.
It's so real. It's so real. It happens every day.
Every single day. And they'll never get it, which is fine.
I do think as women, we need to talk more about
the thing.
Because I think we make it look normal, And so then it's not, it's like, oh, you just had a baby. Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're looking really good. And that's kind of where it stops, but it's not, you're here.
Yeah.
And
that's a big deal.
That in itself is a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. I think to talk about it, and we normalize it way too
we normalize
much.
it too
We
much.
act like it's like, yeah, of course you're supposed to pop out a baby and then go back to work 3 months later. Of course. Yeah. What do you mean? Everybody's doing
it. What makes you special?
No, that's not normal.
It's not normal.
Not okay. That's not okay. And, I guess that's a whole different conversation, but the 9 to 5 situation is not even designed for us, So I think, yes, we have to talk about it more, and we have to, give credit where credit is due.
Yeah,
that,
for sure.
Juggling all those balls is not easy. So I have to commend you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to receive. And I guess that in itself is because I'm like, I'm not the
socialization.
Yeah. I'm like, everybody else is doing it. My mom did it. Like, why should I be like, So it's, and I think that's a problem as well.
Yeah. I think I felt, especially when I had, you have your first, and that's like a crazy shock to your system. Nothing prepares you for having your first child. Adjustment is like insane. And then you have your second one, and at some point I was speaking to a man, and I was like, is everyone doing this? Everybody's doing this. Everyone's having sleepless nights and like taking care of babies and going to work and trying to get fit and trying to drink water, and everybody's doing
insane.
This? Yeah.
Like they're showing up with their face on.
Everyone?
I'm like, yeah.
How? Yeah. How is everybody doing this? But I don't know. I think I have
the same questions.
Yeah.
I would literally drive around, or if I'd go somewhere and I'd see a woman with like multiple kids, and I'd be like, she has 4.
Yeah.
So she did this 4 times.
4 times.
And
She went through
then,
this
you know, I would literally look, I'll be like, wow, so she's here
Yeah.
behind that desk.
Yeah.
She has like kids at home.
Yeah.
And, you know, so there's this, like, it just transformed my
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we need to just, you know, give it to us.
We do.
Yeah.
Because it's absolutely
It's
crazy.
really special.
And it's not normal.
Yeah, and it's
Not
not normal.
No.
It's very special. It's superpowers. Is it important for you to, I guess they're young now, but when they get older, they're going to see you running a business and, you know, getting, you know, doing your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And is that important for you, for them to see as boys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because they're boys.
Yeah.
I think like everything we've just talked about now, for me, what's really, really important in my parenting is to make sure my boys are aware of the superpowers that women have and like the number of things that we have to do. I think it's important for them to see me as their mother, running the show, you know?
Yeah.
Just exposing them to all the things that I think are wrong with how society is in relation to women and men. That's really, really important to me. Yeah. I mean, and it's important for them to see, you know, you can fail and pick up again. You know, and that's not the end of the world. I want them to see that. I want to expose them to that. And that they're privileged as boys. It's really important for them to be aware of.
Yeah, I love that. I think I had a guest before that said, you know, it's good for my son to see mommy doing all these things, but also for them to see how much her husband supports her as well. I think that's really important for boy children to see.
And in all fairness, you're asking how I do it.
Yeah.
But my husband is
you need a supportive husband.
So supportive.
Yeah.
Like so supportive.
You actually can't do it without a supportive partner.
And so I'm having a bit of a moment because I then see other people and I think so it's unique. Like it's unique to have, like he's not the norm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is shocking to me. Because I'm like, but they're our kids, not just mine, you know? So he's supportive and that's amazing. But to think that what he's doing is far more than what the average man does, it's disturbing, you know? It's disturbing because honestly, I would not be able to do it.
You don't take
when I said I took the 6 months maternity leave, my husband, I mean, he had a full-time job, but he jumped in, right? And he kind of took over. And so I was able to just like, you know, pop in and pop out. But he like took it on because he knew, okay, this is really important to me, but I couldn't show up. And then just also like, you know, taking the kids. My husband's a morning person and I'm not. So I struggle with early mornings and my kids wake up at 6. And so he takes that part of the day on. You know, he does the morning shift, so that I can lie in because mornings are just not my thing. Especially if I've had sleepless nights, you know? And so I would be, I don't even know where I'd be if I didn't have a supportive partner. Yeah. So that's really key. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
You really do need a supportive partner. And if you need some kind of community around you.
Community
really
is so core.
Yeah.
Community
I think we've
so
definitely
core.
lost that community naturally.
Yeah, and it's so sad.
It's very, very
because even when I think about how I grew up, community was everything. You know,
aunties, everyone's around.
Village
lives with you at some point.
Yeah.
We don't have that anymore.
And now we're so estranged, even, forget even just family, even just friends, it's kind of like you have to set up appointments and this, that you can't just like show up.
Everyone's just trying to survive, really. I think
I don't know what it is.
Capitalism. I mean, we have to.
We're at the peak of it.
Yeah, we have to do what we have to do. But I think now we buy our community. We buy the support from.
Yeah, we pay for it.
We pay for it.
Yeah.
So, but I guess our parents had it a little bit easier in that sense, because I remember growing up and my uncles and aunties were all around all the time.
Always.
So even like nanny issues weren't a thing, and it's crazy. But then speaking of nanny issues, you're just like, women in the West, they don't have nannies. They don't get to do the nanny
started.
Thing. So
oh my God,
how are you guys doing
get me started. When I tell you, I look at women different. It's women abroad. I'm just like, how does she have makeup on? Like, she had time to put makeup on?
Let me tell you, I'd be depressed.
On top of all the things that she has to do, I'm like, hats off. I would look homeless, first and foremost, with zero remorse. I would look homeless.
Yeah.
And I'd probably be depressed.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're coming from a place of privilege.
Yeah.
But my oh my.
I
don't know. I have a really good friend. I have really good friends who are parents abroad. And after I had my kids, I said hello.
Excuse me.
How are you even picking up the phone?
Yeah.
Like, where's the baby right now? Who are they with? Who made the bed? I'm like, give me the rundown, because I don't understand how you guys are living. Like, how are you doing it? Like, you have a social life? You go to restaurants? You do, like, wow.
And then they come home and cook and clean and
like cleaning the toilet.
Yeah.
And
cleaning,
doing the laundry and ironing and putting on the bed sheets. Have you ever had to, like, like, I'm like, this is work. And y'all are doing the most.
And they do it. And they run businesses. And they have full-time jobs. Some of them have 2 or 3 jobs.
Good. And they go
and they take care. Like,
and
it's
they're
crazy.
Like, doing the thing.
Shout out to the women in the West. Because it's, I just
shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out. Yeah.
For real.
It's next level. I have next level respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I could never do it.
So yeah, that support. The point is that support is necessary.
Yeah. The support, the community, the village. It's necessary. I mean, as we've said, we're currently in a time where we don't have it.
We don't have
at the level that our parents did.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about aunts and uncles. I don't know, what about cousins? Like, I was lived with cousins. Yeah. Like, there was always some cousin at the house. Yeah. Like, the level of support was proper.
Yeah. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit. Give another founder some advice. I think someone in the industry. Mm-hmm. I was talking to someone who has never. She wants to be in hospitality. Mm-hmm. She studied hospitality, and she wants to get started. And I think is discouraged by my story, my comments, my views, and I'm very biased. So I'm always going to tell you don't do it.
Right.
But I'd love for you to give advice to anyone who's trying to get into this kind of business. Mm-hmm. And where should they start? What should they be conscious about when they're starting? And how should they just keep going?
I mean, I think you have to be very clear on what it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Right? You can't be everything to everyone. I think it's easier to start small and simple.
Yeah.
And then build from there.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you trying to do? Fine dining? Are you trying to, what are you trying to do? Like, what lane are you trying to be in? And then within that lane, like, defining it further. I think the more tightly defined you are, then the less mistakes you have to learn from in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Because, like, for me, I think for a while I was trying to kind of understand our voice, and then I kept getting pulled in different directions because opportunities come up, and can you cater to weddings, or can you cater to XYZ, and catering to weddings? It's like, oh, are you okay with just having salads and rice bowls and wraps at your wedding and juices? It's like, no, can you do
Pilau.
Or yeah, exactly. Yes. And then you're like, yeah, sure, and then that just pulls you in a different direction. And then you can kind of lose yourself in the mix of it. So I think the more, and then you learn from that, but then that takes time. Learning and mistakes
are expensive.
Set you back. They're very expensive.
Yeah.
So I'd say just being more as defined and clear as possible, just so that you know when to say no.
Yeah.
Because no's will definitely, yeses will get you places, but no's, like, I think people underestimate the power of no as well. It could take you to the next level. It could save you from a pitfall. So just kind of having that clearly defined, I think is a start. And I guess not being scared to fail.
Yeah.
Like if it's something that you've always wanted to do, you can do it. And then, you can wind up like you. You're like, I'm never going to do it again. But at least now you know. Now you did it. You tried. You were like, not for me. Mm-hmm. And so you're never going to sit there wondering. So I always say if the worst thing is, you're going to try it and it's not going to work out, then that's the best thing, because then you can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Here you're moving on. You're like, okay, that wasn't for me, and I'm never going back. And I think there's like having that clarity is also really important.
Yeah.
So I think I would say start.
Yeah.
And just kind of see where it goes. Yeah.
Do you get tempted though? Like, I think especially when you're trying to survive, or you're in this place where you started and you started one way and you're trying to survive. Do you get tempted when you get that request from the wedding,
now
or what? Do you get tempted to be like, listen, in this economy, we're going to take every kind of business? No?
It's taken a minute for me to get to the stage where I'm so comfortable with my no. I sleep like a baby.
Yeah.
But I had to see where not saying no took me.
Yeah.
I mean, when I tell you I'm starting afresh, a lot of it is because of the number of times that I
didn't say no.
Gave into that temptation.
Yeah.
I said, okay, fine.
Yeah.
And then the setback is way more costly than the opportunity. So I'm very comfortable saying no. Yeah. I believe the right opportunities will come.
Yeah. And you have to stay true to that.
And you have to stay true to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a muscle that you have to work as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. But now,
not all business is good business.
You cannot tempt me.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. But no, because I know I've been that person.
Right.
It's like sometimes you just need to pay the bills. And, it's like sometimes it just you get unsure and it feels like it's not working.
Right.
And so you just need to go in whatever direction, follow the money.
Yeah.
And go in whatever direction that you need to go in. And I think it's kind of hard to figure out if that is, I guess, if it's a good choice or if it's a pivot, a genuine pivot, or, I think it's hard.
No, it's hard. 100% it's hard. But then I think that's why I was saying, like, just being kind of clear about what it is that you want to be. What lane is it that you want to go to? And just like really fine-tuning that.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you always have to be flexible to some degree. Yeah. Because then you're not pivoting, right? When you need to, when the need arises. But I think just having that level of clarity makes it that much easier.
Yeah.
To know that's going to be a bad decision. And that's not.
Yeah.
But I mean, it also comes from experience, right? I think sometimes you have to experience bad decisions.
Yeah. Sometimes
you have to make those expensive mistakes.
And see what works for you, right?
Yeah. And I always say the best time to make mistakes is when you're smaller, right? Because then your mistakes cost a couple of 100,000 shillings versus your mistakes costing millions, right? So you also have that room, and that's what I'm saying. You start small so that you have the room to
Yeah,
make those
yeah,
mistakes
yeah,
and to
yeah,
learn from them
yeah.
before you're then like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. What do you think is your most expensive mistake?
Oh man, my most expensive mistake, I think, was definitely trying to run before we walked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
That expansion, maybe.
there's the expansion, there's the kind of putting my foot off the gas.
Yes.
You know, trying to, at some point I hired a GM and I don't think we were ready for that. And they made decisions that killed the culture. I lost some of my greatest staff because of that hire. You know, they came in with a completely different agenda. And it just became very toxic, and we had to close down one of our branches after that.
Yeah.
So it was definitely trying to run before we were ready. You know, it's like I wanted to have X number of branches. And so I think the focus was on that. And not really on, okay, you need to be ready for that. You know, you need to have the proper systems in place. You still need to be hands-on for a little bit longer before you can. I wanted to be in the creative side. You know, I was like, oh, I want to be more about strategy and, you know, growth. And fair enough, that's essentially where I should be, but I don't think that was the time.
Yeah.
You know, I still needed to be in the woods.
Yeah.
You know, to tighten the bolts in terms of operations, and you know, coming up with the systems and so I think we expanded sooner than we should have. We said yes to more things than we should have. We had a branch in a co-working space, and then so we're doing too many things and then just not doing anything well, you know. So that kind of also tarnished the brand image because we didn't have the capacity to have eyes on, you know, all these moving parts. And so then everything suffered. So you, instead of being a master, we became a master of none, you know. And it's like, is it even healthy anymore? You know, is this? So it was just very, So I think, it wasn't one thing, but like all those things,
a lot of different things really happened.
Kind of was like, okay, we weren't ready to do all these things at that stage.
Okay, let's do some quick fire questions.
Ooh.
The statement is hire slow, fire fast. Do you agree with that?
100%. 100%. Yeah.
I agree
Especially, I agree with the fire fast.
The fire fast is the thing. Is the thing.
And I struggled with that. I had to learn. Ooh, I can hold on. I have all the hope in the world. I'd be like, but today they didn't seem too off. Okay, so let's give it another go. No, fire fast.
The whole process is just so expensive that you cannot afford
and
to
it's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
But it's more exhausting if you don't.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I agree too. A mindset that saved you money, do you think?
The right opportunity will come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing every restaurant founder should automate.
Payroll.
Yeah, of course. Biggest red flag in a business partnership.
Values and principles. If you're not aligned on values and principles, then that's the number one problem.
Yeah. One belief about entrepreneurship that you've fully outgrown.
And that you have to keep going. I believe that you can start something. You have to be open to the fact that maybe it won't work. And then you have to make that decision. And I don't think it means that you can't be an entrepreneur. I think that's the power of being an entrepreneur. And then you start something else, you know? So I think holding on for dear life for something that's just not working I don't believe in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Nanzia.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was fun.
I really appreciate you.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this. I think this platform is so needed.
Thank you.
So good job. Good job to you. Kudos to you, Mama.
Thank you. And I hope I want us to do this again in a couple years and see where you're at.
Girl, I told you 5 years. I went, Alma, you said. Yeah.
No, I know you're gonna have like 20 branches. So
From your mouth to God's ear.
Absolutely.
Because boy, has it been a